What is up, guys? Welcome to Pro Football Hot Takes. I'm glad that you guys joined our podcast. Joining with me is Charles Mack. He works for me. He's a very knowledgeable guy on football. How you doing, Mac?
Pretty good, man. Ready to dive into these picks.
Yeah, man. Well, without further ado, let's get into this, man. For the first round pick for the Cincinnati Bengals, I thought this could be a trade with the Miami Dolphins, but they ended up sticking to their guns and going with Joe Burrow, quarterback out of LSU. What do you think about that?
Yeah, for the Bengals, I feel like they just didn't want to miss here. So, the Dolphins could have traded up, but I just thought it was a slam dunk by the Bengals getting their guy. So yeah. I got an A+ pick there for the Bengals.
Yeah, same thing. I do too, man. We following it up with the second round pick too. That wide receiver. They're really surrounding that team with some talent and whatnot. AJ Green is supposed to be coming back. Tyler Boyd, and I think that Zach Taylor has some good stuff heading into this this next year. So, like you said, slam dunk and no brainer right there. Chase Young, number 2 to the Redskins. Same thing. I think that was a no-brainer, man. I mean, I have them number 1 on the draft board. So, an absolute freak. You never see that. I mean, he's his stature, his size. He has a great first step. He plays with extremely nice bend to his moves. I think that he's just going to be a Pro Bowl, like maybe this first year. I honestly think he's very good. So.
Yeah. Chase Young came in as the number 1 overall player on my draft board, just from a talent perspective. Yeah. You can't miss here. I'm thinking maybe Jadeveon Clowney, but that's like on the low side with this guy. Yeah. So the Washington Redskins could have kind of put some pressure to the other teams out there to kind of trade up there to number 2, but they really couldn't have explained, drafted Tua there or out of that pick. So yeah, that's gonna be another A+ for me.
Yeah, I think that was an A+ for me too. Both of those picks, number 1 and 2. I mean that a lot of people don't think about that, but that defensive front is huge right now.
Yeah.
With Montez Sweat, now you add him in there. You guys, that edge is huge now. I mean, with Kerrigan and all that edge is set, and under Ron Rivera, I think that he's going to excel pretty well. So. Yep. Third pick, Detroit Lions, another trade partner that a lot of people had them mocking, trading down with the Dolphins or the Chargers or something like that. But they stuck to their guns and got Jeff Okudah. What do you think about that?
A little high for a cornerback, but they need, Darius Slay. They had, he signed with the Philadelphia Eagles, so. They had an obvious need there. Cornerback, I probably would have traded back or tried to trade back out of that, and they could have still had Okudah there at 5 or 6, and kind of value for that pick. The reason why I wouldn't give it an A+ is just because you're going that high for a corner, and they get a lot of value. They just replace the need. So, what's your grade there? How's the outlook for you?
I think from a talent perspective, if they address the need first, and I think a lot of this draft, at least the top 10 was, you didn't see any trades until number 14 or something like that.
Yeah, very
Buccaneers. So like you said, very surprising, and I really thought that they were going to trade out and try to get some more draft picks to build around Matt Stafford and stuff like that. But they stuck to their guns and got the best cornerback in the draft. I mean, you can't deny this man has a lot of talent. He's quick, he's fast, he has smooth hips, he can flip those hips pretty well. He's very good at anticipating the routes and whatnot. So I think that in my book, I give him an A- because at number 3, you got the best cornerback in the draft. You address the need, and you're going to go forward. At the other end, you got Desmond Trufant, and it's going to be. I think that defense with with Patricia, I think that he could be good. And hopefully, what they did there as well is they replaced a high-end cornerback that you're going to have to pay pretty big money with a young, talented guy that you're not going to pay a lot of money. So I think over that, I think it's going to be an A- for me.
I give it a B+. Only reason why they just didn't get the value that I thought they could have got at 3. So.
Okay. Yeah. Who would you say would go there? If they stuck at 3 though?
Man.
Maybe to Derek Brown or Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, you can't miss with Derek Brown. If I'm the Lions, Stafford's got a broken back. He's getting up there in age. I draft Tua. I just go for it. But that's me.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Matt Stafford can stay in one piece this year. So I mean,
they must believe in him. So
I mean, he had a great start to the season last year. So I think that he returns and maybe next year if he takes that step backwards, they draft another quarterback coming out of this draft. Yep. So, alrighty, your boys. I'll let you talk about that. The New York Giants.
All right. With the 4th pick, the G-men, my team, Andrew Thomas, love the pick, solid pick. I thought he was the best tackle coming in, into the draft. It slipped a little bit just because he doesn't have a high upside like a Becton or, other guys like that. But, I give the pick an A-. I wouldn't give it A+ just because, Andrew Thomas, he doesn't have that upside other tackles had, but we're going to plug him in and we're going to play him. He's played on the left side. He played on the right side younger when he was in his first years in Georgia. So that was a good pick by Gettleman. Not beating around the bush. One of the worst offensive lines historically for the last 3 or 4 years. Yeah. Get in there, going to protect Daniel Jones, and Saquon Barkley's going to have a bounce back year. So great pick by the New York Giants.
So you think that he's going to start on the left side? You guys are going to keep Soldier and then put him on the right side, or what do you think?
Yeah, so listening to Joe Judge, pretty much it's open for grabs. He's going to pretty much start the best 5 guys. I think he'll play. I think he'll play on the left side, but just depending on how training camp breaks and everything like that, and how Zeitler's doing.
Yeah. I think that you were right on that. Like you hit it right on the head. I think he was the best offensive tackle coming out of this draft. Solid run, pass game. Do it all right now. Safe pick. It's not a sexy pick, but it's a safe pick. And I think that's what the New York Giants had to do right there. Like the last 2 years, last year they drafted Daniel Jones at 6. They went early on him. They took their chances, and he did decent. Now it's getting talent in there to surround him to protect him. So I think overall, that was the pick right there. Offensive tackle, you had to get at least him. I had the New York Giants slotted for Jedrick Wills because you guys needed a right tackle. He was protecting Tua's blind side for the last 2 years. So, but overall, like you said, I give it an A-. I think that was a great pick because, yeah. Alrighty, moving on to number 5, the Dolphins. One of the 3 picks that they had this round. Good thing that they held on because they got their guy. Tua Tagovailoa. So, what's your thoughts on that?
So it's a risky pick. Tank for Tua, but they really didn't have the tank to get him. I just think that with how weak the quarterback draft class is, you just can't pass up on Tua. I don't believe in Herbert. We're going to get to him a little later. But Tua is that guy that, it can be a generational talent. He can be a Drew Brees. So in the past, they've kind of been hesitant to get a guy, but the Miami Dolphins haven't had a Pro Bowler since 1995. That was Dan Marino. So 95 was their last Pro Bowl player. You got to go for your guy there. You got to pick him. I'm going to give it a B+ just because of the injury history with Tua. Maybe they could have traded back or something like that if they really didn't like him and they thought it was too risky because the medical doctors can't evaluate him. Yeah. But I thought it was a ballsy pick. I thought it was a good pick.
Yeah, I think I'm with you too, man. I think that it was pushing a little bit, but at the same time, it's a quarterback driven league. You have to go get your franchise guy. Yeah. And if you think Tua is that guy that's going to stay healthy, look what they did later on the draft. They drafted, I think, 5 linemen this draft. So making sure that he's going to be protected. So I think that I give it a like you said, a B+ because with him coming to the Dolphins. Still that injury factor, he was injured all last year, but he is a fighter, he tried to come back and play and stick in there, and I personally, without the injury history, I think that he's the best QB in the draft over Jordan.
Oh yeah.
IQ level. You know,
well,
the way that he.
Track
Yeah,
record.
yeah.
So Burrow had only a season. You know,
Yeah.
was that lightning in the bottle? Was that a product of his environment? Tua was a little more consistent.
Right. Right.
And
that's no knock on Burrow either. It's just I think Tua has done it for 2-3 years now, and he's a proven quarterback. And in the RPO, I think that the one of the best things that I see him do is look off the safeties. He's awesome. I mean, this year he would look Henry Ruggs way, and he knew that he was going Jerry Jeudy all the way, to the left. He was just waiting. Yep, he was just waiting for that free safety to float right. So, I think overall, it's a B+ with the injury, but I think that they went in out there and got their guy. So, moving on, I give this pick to the Los Angeles Chargers. So much switches, in this league. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert, man.
We talked about this. This is kind of like a head scratcher a little bit.
Yeah, the thing is, you have so much talent still on the board right here. I mean, possibly trade back. I mean, you traded forward later on in the round. If you traded back, you'd had more trade capital to get an earlier pick. But I think this is a huge spot that I mean, I know that they love Justin Herbert, but he's worth the 6th pick. I don't think
he's worth the 6th pick. Not for an inconsistent quarterback who actually played worse the longer he was in college. So,
everybody had this debate saying, "Oh, should he come out of the draft last year?" Everybody was like, "Oh, if he's going to come out of the draft, he's going to be higher than Kyler Murray and whatnot." I don't see that. I didn't even see that last year.
I had the Giants drafting him if he had came out. But,
I just think that he's too inconsistent. He doesn't his touch passes. I think that he has a winner's heart. I think that he wants to win. He's going to do everything that it takes to win. But I don't think that he can when it's in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes to go. I don't think that he can put the team on his back and carry that. So overall, I think that I'm going to give this a C-.
C-. Yeah, I have to agree. C- for me as well. They addressed the need at quarterback. Obviously, Tyrod Taylor's not the long-term plan there. But I saw his tape, and it was a mix between Josh Allen and Blaine Gabbert. So, wildly erratic, sometimes in the pocket, would make a mistake, and then the next play, it's a bomb down 50 yards, So, just a pretty inconsistent player that is sort of a developmental talent. You could argue that Jordan Love has higher upside, and they could have just traded back him instead. Yeah. So that's kind of what hurts their pick. But
I agree with you.
Yeah, C-. Well, yeah.
I agree with you. They definitely could have found either. I mean, and from reports, what they say is that from what Anthony Lynn is saying, that even though they got Justin Herbert, he's going to sit behind Tyrod Taylor for a whole year. Is that the right QB to sit behind though?
Not to waste Derwin James and those guys. Those guys are monsters out there. So I mean, overall, C-, but we're gonna move on. Get past that one. All right. A quick one.
Carolina Panthers. Derek Brown, D-tack from Auburn. This guy is, I mean, his combine wasn't very great. I mean, a lot of people hit on that, and but I think with defensive tackles, edge rushers and whatnot, speed is testing at the combine is important. But at the same time, what do you do on the field? And countless times when I was watching his tape, he was taking on double teams, holding his anchor, and really fighting that. He's fast. He has an extremely amazing punch, and he can stick in there for the run. So right here, they lost some of their defensive line this year, and I think you add Derek Brown. I believe that it's a great pick, but I mean, you have to think about the talent that's on the board here. Isaiah Simmons. He lost Luke Kuechly. Now, I'm not saying Isaiah Simmons is a Luke Kuechly. Right. They're two different players. But at the same time, Isaiah Simmons is a Swiss Army knife. You can put him anywhere. But overall, I mean, it's a safe pick. Like a majority of this first round, I think that they did very well. I'm going to give this an A-.
Yeah, A minus. I'd go with the A, just an A, not A minus, which is kind of a higher grade, right? They could have screwed this up. I think they just took chalk, best player on the board, and you pretty much hit it on the head. So we nothing to add up on that one. Solid player who even went back for an additional year, could have came back to Auburn and kind of dominated. So I mean, he has a lot of tape, and he was a great player for a while there. So great pick for Carolina.
Alrighty, with the 8th pick, the Arizona Cardinals. These are my boys, so I'm going to introduce this one here. We got the all Swiss Army knife right here, boy. He can attack from all over the field. Isaiah Simmons. Here we go. He can match up on tight ends. He can play the run. He's all over the field. I mean, he played over 200 snaps at the safety position, 200 snaps at the slot. He played over 150 snaps at the linebacker position. So his versatility is off the chains. And for a team that ranked last in total defense, Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator, must be like super excited on this pick. So right here, you couldn't miss. He's the 3rd best player on the board. You have to go with Isaiah Simmons, and this is a terrific. I can't believe he fell to 8. And so when I saw his name coming across the screen, I just lit up. So what do you think about that?
Fantastic player, coming out of Clemson, just can do it all. Like you said, he can play in the box, he can play safety. He ran a 4.4. He was
4.39 at a 2.38. Yeah.
4.39, this guy, right? Can play linebacker. The only knock on him coming into the draft is maybe he was positionless. They know what they would do with him. And I really wanted the Giants to go ahead and take him, but we went with the safe bet. A-plus pick, and, the Cardinals really steal the draft. One of the steals of the draft. I won't say the steal because we're going to get to that, but great pick by the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I think so too, man. Like you said, 6'4", 238, ran a 4.39, and I think he had like 11 foot broad jump. Jesus Christ, so he's very explosive. During his combine day, they said one of the reporters said, "Hey, what position do you play?" He said defense. So I think I think Vance Joseph is gonna have a heyday there, and it's gonna be a very good pick. All right, here we go. Jacksonville Jaguars. C.J. Henderson, the cornerback out of Florida. What do you think?
Obvious need for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but for the Jaguars, they have holes all over their defense, all over their team, really. Yeah. C.J. Henderson, I see what they're trying to do here. I thought it was a solid pick. They could have went O-line or something like that. Could address some other needs, but I thought it was an okay pick. I'm going to B- there.
Yeah. In my initial mock draft, I had him going offensive lineman. I think I had him going Mekhi Becton. I agree with you. Getting rid of Jalen Ramsey last year, getting rid of AJ Bouye this year, you don't really have a solid cornerback to match up in the AFC, and the AFC is stacked with receivers. So I think it's a great play right here. I think I'm going to give this an A- here. I think he's very good at man-to-man coverage. He took a step down last year. I think Florida ran a little bit more zone coverage, and he just has a good read on the ball. So this high, I don't believe that I would have selected him this high. But you had Javon Kinlaw there. You had Mekhi Becton, a receiver. You could have added another weapon for Gardner Minshew, or what I think is going to be Cam Newton this year. But we'll get to that on a later video. So, but overall, yep, I give it a A-. So, what'd you say?
Yeah, the reason what you just said there is why I gave him a B, like a B-. Yeah. Just because you're kind of reaching for a corner that isn't a shutdown. I saw the tape against LSU, and he did get burned a couple times, and he kind of is lackadaisical sometimes. Doesn't really keep his eye on the ball as he's actually guarding, like a Jeff Okudah would. But kind of a reach. I thought he was like a late, like a 21, 22 kind of player pick. Yeah. So that high, you need a game changer, top 10 pick. So
And the other thing with him, he picks and chooses when he wants to tackle. He's kind of like a Greedy Williams of last year, you know. He doesn't like a Jeff Okudah. He solidifies that outside position. No running back, no quarterback is going to get outside of him, and he's going to force everything back into the middle to the linebackers. And Okudah was able to get off the wide receivers and make a play. I think that he could use a lot more strength and a lot more just wanting to play with football. You know, I think a big thing in drafting young kids like this is heart, you know, and that goes into it. You know, I think wanting to play this and make that tackle is a huge thing that comes into play. So from a need perspective, I give them an A-. And alrighty, Cleveland Browns. You couldn't miss here. They had to go offensive tackle. I mean, you already have you already have OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper. They have one of the best receiving corps in the league, and then to at the back end, you have Nick Chubb. So you just need someone to protect your quarterback now. So they added some offensive line talent to this offseason. So now in the draft, you get the best right guard or right tackle. So in Jedrick Wills. So I think this is a very good pick right here. I'm going to give this an A+.
Yeah, kind of a do or die year for Baker Mayfield and that Cleveland Brown offense. Showed some promises in his rookie of the year, and then he regressed, was on his back way too often, was pressured and dropped back and hit the most out of any quarterback in the league, and was terrible offensive line. And the only way he's going to even remotely get to his ceiling is staying upright. So I'm going to go with the A+ there for the pick.
Yeah. Yep, no brainer there. So, all right, we'll be moving on to the New York Jets. These guys could use any talent that they could on that team.
All right.
So, but overall, they got Mekhi Becton. I'm a hit or miss on this guy. I think that he got a lot of hype for no reason. You know, I mean, he played in a weak conference. You know, he's a freak. I mean, I'm not gonna put that past him. You know, he's 6'7", 364 pounds. He's a left tackle. He moves, and he's very good. I just think that there's, like you said earlier, I mean, there's tremendous upside to him, but we don't know yet. You know, I think that he needs to cut down the weight, you know, to play, because I mean, obviously you're going to be going up against Joey Bosa, you're going to be going up against Nick Bosa, all this stuff like that, you know, like the top, you know, edge rushers in the league, you know, that have a lot of speed. These guys aren't in college anymore. The game speeds up. So I think overall he needs to drop some weight, but it's not a bad pick. It's a safe pick. I think that they could have gotten a good receiver here, and Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb or Henry Ruggs even, but my pick would have been CeeDee Lamb here. So I'm gonna give this a B. It's a safe pick. They needed an offensive line pick help, so I'm gonna give this a B.
I'm gonna go with the A-. Player comparison for me would be the Brickashaw Ferguson, a big guy. He had a crazy combine. I think he ran like 4.7 or something like that, 4.8. Crazy for a lineman. But you're the thing about the Jets, you're gonna have to develop this guy, and I don't really trust the Jets to be developing anyone. So I would have went Tristan Wirfs here. They were gonna go something like O-line. Yeah. You know, kind of crazy, but you know, you don't want to see Sam Darnold seeing ghosts again, right, out in Foxborough. So
well, you know, and that's my thing. Like, I think that they added a lot of veteran offensive line talent to the squad this offseason, and I think that they could have gotten a lot better pick here for what Adam Gase is, whatever he's trying to do in that system. So, and I mean, hopefully, I mean, this offensive line is going to be good for Sam Darnold. He's going to stay upright, and maybe we'll see his true potential, you know. I think that coming out of college, he could have been, you know, a decent QB, and hopefully he can stay upright and, you know, not get mono this year. So, overall, I'll give it a B. I'll just give it a B. So.
Okay.
Moving on. This is a total Raiders move. I absolutely love this move. And Henry Ruggs, the third, 5'11", 188, ran a 4.2.
Yeah. Yeah,
4.2, 4.28, 4.2, something like that. 4.25, something like that. 4.2. That's all we need to know.
You're in 4.2, then you're fast, right?
Yeah, this guy's blazing. He's gonna take the edge off the. He's going to take their edge, and he's just going to go with it. The safeties are going to have to look his way. And although I don't think David Carr likes to throw it down the field so much, but the thing is with him, and maybe taking a couple shots downfield to Henry Ruggs, it's going to open up Darren Waller. I mean, look at what you've seen in their division, the Chiefs. You have Tyreek Hill, you have Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce gets open under the middle all the time because they have to double coverage over the top with Tyreek Hill because he's lightning fast. You have to respect the speed because it's just going to be a touchdown all day. And then to add it, they have Terrell Williams on the other side, a big body receiver. So if you're in the red zone, just run him underneath, throw Terrell Williams over the top, and hopefully they can. John Gruden can. I think John Gruden has been doing some pretty good stuff for the last 2 years, and their draft has been pretty decent. So overall, I give this an A.
Gonna give it an A. Yeah, everybody's looking for that Tyreek Hill, that deep threat. Just look around. Denver, they added a ton of receivers. Kansas City's they got a lot of flyers and stuff like that. So if you want to be competitive in the AFC, you're gonna have to put points on the board. The fit, David Carr or Derek Carr, not his brother, because he can't throw with the dead. He doesn't throw the ball down the field,
Yeah.
And so if he's not looking for Ruggs down the field, it's gonna be a problem. This is really going to be a make or break year for Derek Carr. You can't say he's not going to have all the tools to succeed because they're there. I like the pick. I'm going to go with an A+.
Yeah, I agree. Alrighty, here we go. The first trade of the draft right here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers came up one spot, to take over the 49ers. But see, me and you were going over this while we were watching this draft, and we were like, why? And later reports came out that Joe Staley was retiring,
Okay.
So maybe they what is the word that I'm trying to think of? Try to get them to move up. I mean, obviously to get more draft capital because they knew they were going to go Javon Kinlaw, but they told Tampa Bay, hey, if you're not going to move up, we're going to take Tristan Wirfs here, Joe Staley's done, So at first reaction, I thought this was the dumbest move of the draft so far, obviously. But now with reports, I think it's a decent move. But Tampa Bay moves up one spot, gets Tristan Wirfs, a solid offensive tackle. I think a lot of mock drafts had him going top 10 because of his athleticism. But honestly, I think that he's going to be playing guard in the NFL. I mean, he has amazing speed. He has he has shorter arms for a tackle, so that's why I think that they're gonna move him in. But overall, I'm gonna give this an A because of the fact that you have your team now. You got Tom Brady, you got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Now you got to protect Tom Brady to be able to throw it downfield to these guys. Overall, A.
Yeah, solid pick. I'm gonna give it an A. Nothing really needs to be said there. Tom Brady, they're in win now mode. This is their window. They're gonna bring it on, try to put it all together, and try to keep Tom Brady upright. So I'm giving it an A.
Yeah. Alrighty, moving on then. What is it? Semi? No, we'll just go with the 49ers. The 49ers. I can't believe they have 2 first-round picks. I'm sitting here at the beginning of the draft saying, "Whoa, this team went to the Super Bowl and they have 2 first-round picks."
But they picked second last year, so all it takes is a good GM and the right amount of to get it done. Yeah.
So I mean, you traded away DeForest Buckner, D tackle, and you get a T tackle. Javon Kinlaw. Yeah. And overall, I think this is a great pick. Honestly, I thought he could go top 10. He just has tremendous speed, he has a great story. I don't know if you heard his story, but great story. size, strength, motor. He is.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
He wants to get upfield. He wants to go out, get after it. Overall, I think this is a great pick. It fits their defense. I mean, obviously, you have Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa. Now you have Javon Kinlaw. I mean, that defensive line is once again stacked. And I think that he has actually a better upside than what DeForest Buckner has. So I think that it is what it is for Javon Kinlaw. I think that he needs to take that position and run with it, I mean, the 49ers defense is once again going to be solid, the best in the league, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Solid pick. I give it an A+.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. A+. They addressed the need. Once DeForest Buckner was showing signs of aging, they got off that contract. Now you got a guy on a rookie deal who's a savage. Just the hit's going to keep coming. Those guys are going to be nasty, and watch out for the 49ers next year. A+.
So what do you think about them not drafting a wide receiver here, one of the top 3 receivers?
Well, it tells me that they believe in Jimmy Garoppolo and they believe in Deebo Samuel and the guys they already have in place. And, they're going to try to stack that up probably through trade, or they did address it, I believe, in the 3rd or 4th round. We'll get to that. But I just think that they were just trying to fill a need and get an impact player there for the run.
Yeah. I mean, it obviously showed last year. If you stack that front 7, nobody's going to be able to run on you, except for the Cardinals. I mean, Kenny Drake had over 100 yards both games. So
they're a power running team. They're a power running team who likes to use their tight end. And they milk the clock and use the middle of the field. So they're not looking for guys on the outside. They got fast.
Yeah, I agree with you. And they drafted Brandon Ayuk, we'll get to later on.
I didn't want to spoil that one, but.
Oh, yeah, sorry. All right, moving on. The Broncos. I mean, if you're the GM here, if you're what is his name?
Drew Lock.
I mean, yeah, but the GM for the Broncos, I can't even think of his name.
John Elway.
John Elway. There we go.
Yeah.
I can't forget his name. Gosh, if you're John Elway right here, you're sitting at 15, being like sending up prayers, thanking God right here, because you got the second best wide receiver in the draft. I mean, Jerry Jeudy with KJ, I forget his last name, Hamler.
KJ Hamler from Penn State.
Yes. For in the 2nd round they got him, and now you add Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and KJ Hamler,
and Noah Fant at tight end.
Noah Fant, and then they have Melvin Gordon now back in the backfield. So Drew Lock has all the weapons that he has available to him, to be able to take this and run with it. I think that now John Elway is going to be like loading this. He believes in Drew Lock, and they're going to be building their team around him, and that he got the best or the second best wide receiver on my terms in the draft. So I had a great pick, A+.
Yeah, A+ pick for me. A great route runner. He's one of the best route runners I've seen come out. Very polished, can get to his spot, knows where to sit down in the defense, can get open. I mean, this is a great pick. A+. Yep.
Alrighty. The Falcons here. I think that this could have been a lot of mock drafts had them trading up to the Cardinals or the Panthers or something like that to go get another receiver or trying to get another defender, but I think they waited and they got. AJ Terrell wasn't the 3rd best cornerback in the draft. I think that he's a solid, that has a lot of reputation as a cornerback. I mean, he played 3 seasons at Clemson, and he did well. He's very good at press corner. He has smooth hips, just like Jeff Okudah. He has the speed and whatnot. Able to bat down balls. Get in the receiver's face. He's very tough. So I think I'm going to give this a B. It's a good, and they addressed a need after getting rid of Desmond Trufant. So I think this is a good pick right here.
Yeah, it's going to be a B- for me. For me, I had Chase on going there. Vic Beasley left. They had a lot of injuries. Their defense. Look, the Falcons couldn't catch cold. They couldn't stop anybody on defense. They're notorious for blowing leads, not getting pressure on the quarterback. I would have went Chase on or another defensive player there. Because if you look at it, their offense is great. It's always been the defense and an inability to stop the pass. Yet, AJ Terrell, good player, but he's not like, he could have been a second rounder for me.
Yeah.
He's not like, plug and play. He's going to have to – he's kind of more developmental, in my opinion. Yeah. So I would put Chase on there, but they didn't whiff. So, yeah, I'm going to give him B-.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they didn't solidify that number one cornerback spot that you're going to have to mark up with, Michael Thomas and, Robbie Anderson and, Chris Godwin. Yeah. And,
if he's on Michael Thomas, he's going to get destroyed. So that's not good.
So he gets beat over all the time. So yeah, I agree with you. Not a bad pick, but you address a need and try to go with it. So you always next year. So alrighty, the Dallas Cowboys. Go ahead and lead this one off, man.
Dallas Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb at 17. An absolute steal for me, the steal of the draft. I'm a Giants fan. This was absolutely terrifying. You could have done maybe a million mock drafts, and you never would have had this guy falling down to 17 at Dallas Cowboys. It's a no-brainer. A+ pick for the boys. First time I actually see them use their head and not outthink. Great pick. They're going to be scary, and I hope Dak Prescott doesn't sign because it's going to be a wrap.
Well, this pick was just as pretty as the GM's boat that he was drafting on. So I'm a Kyler fan, obviously, and this was one of his number one receivers in Oklahoma. I wanted him. I think we got a great pick, but overall, one of the best receivers in this draft, if not the best. And I think that he has tremendous upside still. What he does after he catches the ball is amazing. His player comp is actually DeAndre Hopkins. So you put two and two together. Come on. If he's anywhere close to what DeAndre Hopkins, you're going to be looking at an amazing receiving core with Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb, and you add Zeke in the backfield. Oh, come on, man. Now they just got to put it all together. I think with Mike McCarthy, I think that this is the best receiving, offense that he's ever had. If Dak doesn't hold out, and I think that this team could go very far, and it's not a it's not surprising because this team was in the talks for winning the NFC last year. So I think this is a great pick. I couldn't believe that. We were watching this together, and I was like, "That's you can't miss there. You can't go defensive line. You have to go get him." And,
best player available there. You got to do it. And look, they're gonna put up 28 to 30 points a game on people because their corners are awful and their defense is dreadful in the secondary. But they had to take the best player available, CeeDee Lamb, number one. Gotta do it.
Yep, I agree. Moving on to the Dolphins. Again, their second pick in the first round. This was traded from the Pittsburgh Steelers for Minka Fitzpatrick last year. And they went out and got Austin Jackson. I did not like this at all. I give this a solid C. I think
greater than I kind of.
It surprises me because Josh Jones fell to the third round. Which every single mock draft that I saw had Josh Jones going in the first round. So it makes me wonder what happened to Josh Jones. But at the same time, I'm sitting here saying, why? Why Austin Jackson? He's still not as proven as I thought that he was going to be. So, at the beginning of the college season, he could have been one of the best offensive tackles coming out of this draft. And I think that he really took a step back and didn't perform as everybody thought he did. Overall, he has good lateral adjustments, and he's good with his hands and whatnot. He's going to be able to handle it, but I think, he's not going to be a franchise left tackle. But obvious need here, offensive tackle, protecting Tua. I'm going to give this a C+.
C+. Okay. It's going to be a C for me. Developmental tackle out of USC. Watch this tape. He got off the ball a little slow. His awareness kind of wasn't there. His pass blocking needs work and stuff like that. His hand placement, the way he's blocking is kind of subpar. So thought it was a reach. They drafted a cornerback, but they could have gotten more talent at corner. They could have just drafted a corner there, or got Isaiah Wilson from Georgia. A little more experienced guy. They could have done that. So kind of a head scratcher, not getting a more polished tackle there. So it's going to be a C for me.
Especially, I mean, you got to think about it. This guy's coming in for the replacement of Laramie Tunsil. I mean, this guy's not a replacement for him. So
no, it's not. They're going to take a step.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, they addressed the need. Hopefully, he does well. And he is what they thought he was. But overall, C+. Moving on, the Raiders, the second pick of their first round, and they go out and get Damon Arnett. I didn't like this guy at first. I started watching a little bit of tape and whatnot. He's done it for a little bit. He's above average. He's not going to be a number one wide receiver by any cornerback by any means. He was. His instincts are like super inconsistent, like he can play on the receiver, but he guesses too much, he guesses on whether they're going to run a fade or they're going to run a slant, and he has the speed to make it up, but he's not physical enough to get in there, break up passes. I think this is there was a lot more, come on, you had Trayvon Diggs still available, cornerback that we're going to address.
Got Gladney. You had Gladney out there.
So I think there's a lot more to address here than just drafting him. I think that overall I'm going to give this a C+.
This was the first pick of the night where I was like, really? This is a D for me. He wasn't even on my draft board first round.
He was at best a third round pick.
At best, third round pick. What are you doing? He played opposite of Jeff Okudah. Saw his tape. He got burned often. He wasn't an impact player, and he reminded me more of like a zone corner. Maybe he can do that kind of deal. He can't play man. He gets burned. If you're getting burned against Minnesota and stuff like that, it's not going to translate well out there. So I thought it was a terrible pick. They could have gotten Jeff Gladney. If they want to address the secondary, they could have done other things. This is a terrible pick, and it was a waste of a pick for me. Bad pick.
Same. I'm glad that we agree on that. Alrighty. Jacksonville Jaguars. This is the pick that they got for trading to the Rams, Ramsey. So overall, I think this is that right here. They could have gone different way, a lot of different ways. I think that they could have either drafted another linebacker. I mean, obviously this week a report came out about Telvin Smith. He's in in law a dispute, and we'll just leave it as that. So but he's in trouble with the law. So I think right here, without knowing that, as Clavon Chasen from LSU, I think that he has he's a little undersized for the OLB position. I think that they thought he's replacing they're drafting him to replace Calais Campbell, and that's not what he is. He's not a Calais Campbell. He's 6'3", 254. So I think that if you want him to play the DN position, he's a little undersized. But he has tremendous speed. He's very fast. He's good with his hands. He has very good bend, as a pass rusher. But what is he as a run defender? I think that he just lacks the upper body strength, and he can't control the blockers, where he wants them to go, So overall, I mean, I'm gonna give this a B+ because if they play him at OLB, what Telvin Smith was, I think that he can drop back. I mean, this is one of the most drop back OLBs in college football last year, and he did pretty well at it, dropping back to the flats, playing like a cover 3 flat position. So I think I'm going to give this a B+. I mean, it's a solid pick, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B plus as well. They didn't whiff again here. Jacksonville, you never know what they're gonna do. Most time it's be defense. You know what I mean? What I saw from Chason, it seemed like he would take bad angles to plays, would gamble a lot. Wasn't very smart instinctually on the field. So that's kind of a drawback, but I think that's something he'll learn over time with more snaps and more reps. But the guy's a beast. He is undersized, but I think he'll make up for that with effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's a good pick for Jacksonville.
Agree. All right, moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles. They had to take a wide receiver here.
Yep.
I think that it was. I think that they wanted to move forward. You know what I mean? I think that if it was up to the Atlanta Falcons, if I was the GM of the Atlanta Falcons, I was gonna probably try to move back. I was saying during the draft, I wish that the Eagles would have moved up and grabbed one of those top 3 receivers. Aguilar was absolute trash last year. Hopefully you have a healthy Deshaun Jackson this year, and then you put Jalen Reagor here. He's 5'11", 206, tremendous speed. He makes the defenders miss all the time. He has return capabilities. I think this is overall a good pick. I'm going to give this a B+.
Yeah, Reagor, he kind of has that Tyreek Hill once again. Got that speed, elite speed. He's going to take top off the defense. I think that's going to be trending in the league. For me, I would have went Justin Jefferson there, just a sure bet, surefire kind of player there. It was a little bit of a reach, but Reagor was dominant at TCU. I thought it was an okay pick. Going to give it a B+.
Yeah. Also, I think it kind of hurt his draft stock a little bit that, he didn't really have a quarterback to throw to him, and he put up the numbers that he did. So I think that, overall they're getting a solid receiver. But I agree with you. Justin Jefferson was waiting there too. If I was Justin Jefferson, I was for sure that I was going to go to the Philadelphia Eagles. So overall, yep, I agree with you. So moving on, Minnesota Vikings. Trade away Stephon Diggs this year. I think that was a great move because I think that he was creating some problems in the locker room, and overall you get a good rookie that performed well in the national championship. The number 1 receiver on that team, next to Chase, which is going to be a tremendous wide receiver next year, but we'll get to that too. He catches the ball. He high points the ball very well. He has good body control, natural hands. He's a very good pass catcher. I think that there's some concern about Jefferson's ability to separate on the outside, but he's a 6'1". He's a big receiver, Adam Thielen's going to get the number 1 cornerback on him. I think that him working against the number 2 or moving him into the slot might be a good position for Justin Jefferson. I think that he's going to be primarily ran from the slot. So I think this is a good place to pick him at, and I think could be a steal. I think I'm going to give this an A.
Yeah, it's going to get an A+ to me. Love the pick. Stephon Diggs didn't want to be a Viking anymore. He was obviously checked out. So, getting that value, they're not going to pay Stephon Diggs. Going to bring a rookie in there. I love this tape. He did everything. He ran great routes. Kirk Cousins is going to have a field day back there. And, Rudolph, they got Thielen, and he's going to be in the slot. So I thought it was a great pick, and I think he's going to be a steal.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on, then I think that puts it for itself. Who is this? The Los Angeles Chargers moved back up into the first round and traded with New England, which New England has success drafting later in the round. So Bill Belichick got 19 different picks and later in the draft,
like 8 6-round picks.
his
dog was drafted.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Maybe that's where he gets all his success. Tom Brady. Maybe the dog was there for that one, but overall, Chargers move up and get Kenneth Murray. I love this guy. I started watching him. Obviously, I was a little bit of an Oklahoma fan last year, watching what Jalen Hurts was going to do, obviously what Kyler Murray did, watching this guy perform at the linebacker position. He was all over the field, he's a great run stopper, he has great speed to play all over the field. He's a sideline to sideline player, and I think that he plays with tremendous toughness and just a go-getter mode. He has a good motor, so I think that he's gonna excel in that already great defense. I mean, Derwin James and Joey Bosa, and the list goes on. That defense is going to be stacked next year. And you add another playmaker into this defense, I think is a good pick right here.
Yeah, great pick. It's going to get an A from me. Watching some of his tape, I got a Derek Brooks kind of vibe. He's very instinctual. His run defense is great, rangy, makes a decision and goes with it, and his tape really popped out. So I like what he did. I don't know how his pass, the Big 12 gets a lot of heat for their defense and stuff like that. So his pass defense, see how he is there. But I thought it was a great pick. The rich get richer, and the Chargers defense is going to be scary. Yeah,
you make a good point there. Moving on to the Saints, a lot of people wanted to see a wide receiver here.
Yeah.
I called this right before this happened. I said they need to go offensive guard, center. They lost their center 2 years ago. They drafted one last year. I think that this guy, Cesar Ruiz from Michigan. I'm a Michigan fan overall. So watching this guy go, from a freshman, he played guard, he played center. He's tremendous. He's one of the best guards / centers coming out of the draft in a while. He has great pass set. He's very good with his hands. He's a big body. He's 6'3", 307. So Drew Brees, as short as he is, he can look over that. He's very smart. I think that he's going to be a plug-and-play starter, and he's going to be a starter for a very long time. And I think one of my favorite picks in the draft, not just because he's from Michigan, but they addressed a very big need. Drew Brees, got hurt last year. You need to protect your quarterback. You got Emmanuel Sanders as your second wide receiver. You got Michael Thomas, all the most receptions in the league, I think the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Address that now, and hopefully Jameis Winston is not your QB next year. But but overall, I'm gonna give this an A. So
yeah, I'll give it an A. The thing that I saw in that game against the Vikings was the amount of push they got in the middle of that offensive line, and they were in the backfield. They were getting pressure on Drew Brees, and that was a knock on him coming into this year. He's even older, so they're gonna have to protect him. Wasn't a sexy pick, but it was necessary if they're gonna win a Super Bowl. So a good pick. Hey.
Yeah, all my Saints fans were saying, "Oh, why?" But you got to look at the need over want. Obviously, everybody wanted a wide receiver there. T. Higgins was standing on the board right there. Late in the draft, everybody had him going a little bit later in the draft. But everybody would want to see that. An LSU player Clemson player going to LSU. But I think that they drafted the need, and that was great. So, moving on, we got the second pick from the 49ers, and they traded with the Minnesota Vikings. They basically traded their basically what they did was trade their 6th round pick that they got from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and traded back into the 1st round. So, this is a steal right here, and a hot take, Super Bowl contender for next year again. They added a tremendous one of my favorite wide receivers in this draft too, because he can beat any quarterback. He has great separation on a quarterback, and can really. I think that one thing that he can really use some progress in is his route running. There in ASU, they don't really take to heart route running. They just kind of run all over the field, and just play ball. In the Pac-12, that's for another conversation. But
Right.
but I think that he has everything that is going to be needed. You know, they're going to throw him on the flats. You know, throw him on jet sweeps. You know, he has the speed to get around people. And Kyle Shanahan is going to have a heyday with this guy. I think this is going to be once again a scary defense and also a progressively scary offense. So I'm going to give it an A.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an A+. I love the move here. The reason why they lost that Super Bowl is because they didn't really have any explosive plays over the top. Not a lot of burners down the field. Garoppolo, just couldn't get it done when it mattered most because, he was going to Deebo Samuel and then kind of had everybody else covered. So, the 49ers knocking it out of the park. Yeah. Definitely the 49ers. And they're just showing every other team, if you don't go out and actually get players, they are going to be good for a long term. You got to address actual needs instead of just making safe picks. Come back into the round and get the guy you want. And don't be afraid of getting the guy you need,
Yeah, well, and I was surprised that the 49ers did well in the offseason because, they kept majority of their team. Got rid of Emmanuel Sanders, but he wasn't a factor he wasn't that big of a factor in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
They got younger. They're getting younger.
They're getting younger. This is going to be a scary team for a pretty long time. So, it's a great pick. Alrighty, I'll let you head this one off. The Green Bay Packers. What's your hot takes?
The Green Bay Packers traded up to 26 to take Jordan Love. So it wasn't like Jordan Love just fell in their lap. Oh, we need a quarterback for the future. We'll take Jordan Love. No, they traded up to 26 and took Jordan Love. In my opinion, a complete reach for me. I know that, Aaron Rodgers is getting up there in age, but you were in the NFC Championship game. You're in the NFC Championship game. You went 13-3, okay, 7-1 in those close games in the regular season, and you don't address getting this guy some help, getting this guy a wide receiver. Just looking down the line, T. Higgins, they could have got. It just. I don't see why. Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't even be like, okay, look, we're in win now mode. We're in a window. We're gonna give Aaron Rodgers all the help he needs. The Green Bay Packers came with a head-scratching decision to take Jordan Love, and I think he has a lot of high upside, but the pick was just a head scratch for me. I didn't like the pick.
I agree with you. I think that moving up in the first round. When you could have gotten him later, at your 30th pick, I think that is a terrible move. And like you said, they had a glaring need at the wide receiver position. They're a piece away from going to the Super Bowl. This is a scary team with Aaron Jones being as young as he is, I think he's only getting paid maybe a minimal of $1 million. And then you have Devontae Adams. You don't have a solid number 2 receiver. No. And for them to go out of their way to move up and draft a quarterback, it's nothing on Jordan Love. It's all about putting the team together that you need to go out there and win a championship. And it's not getting done. They passed on. 27 amazing receivers, and I was like, there, what are you doing?
This could be a separate podcast by itself, right? Like we can talk about. Yeah. Are they ready to move on from? Are they putting a timeline or a clock on Aaron Rodgers there? And you look at it, the 49ers ran for almost 300 yards on them. They got stumped twice, and they didn't address maybe getting a defensive player. They lost Blake Martinez, a Fackrell, both to the Giants, and they didn't address that at all.
Where you could have gotten a Patrick Queen or even Jordan Brooks, right or like a Zach Bond. You got to address your needs, and this was not a glaring need. No. And it's no knock on Jordan Love. I think that he's a tremendous QB with a huge upside. Talking about him, he has a great arm. He's the best out of the quarterbacks that is drafted in this draft. He's the best quarterback throwing on the run. He has tremendous expectancy of what the receiver is going to be. I think he has great upside. For the player himself going to that team, I'm gonna give him an A. But at the pick, for the pick, I'm gonna give him a C-.
Yeah, a lot of people confuse that. It's the where they took him. It's not. I'm not mad at the pick.
Yeah.
I was looking at from their perspective. It didn't make sense to pick him there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they could have got Jacob Eason in the 4th round, 5th round. They could have got
or waited next year.
Back there. Or waited next year. So yeah, well, let's move on because this could be
it's a whole different video. Alrighty, moving on to the Seattle Seahawks. Jordan Brooks. I know that both of us, while we were watching this, we were like, "What? Who?"
Right.
I thought, sitting there for Patrick Queen, I was like, "Oh, this is a tremendous play right here. It's no brainer right here." Patrick Queen. Hopefully he wasn't a one-hit wonder, but looking back at it, looking at some tape before we did this video, I was like, "Wow, this is a total Seahawk move." AJ Wright injured his shoulder later in the year. That Seattle team kind of fell apart at the end of the year. They have tremendous talent still on that defense, and a lot of people forget about them. They're a dark horse in the NFC West. If you think about it, they were the second team. They tied with the 49ers in their record. 2 NFC West teams went to the playoffs. And that's been for the last couple years. That the NFC West and Seattle Seahawks for that point is great. But here Jordan Brooks, his stature, he's 6 foot 240, that screams KJ Wright and Bobby Wagner to me. I think that they're trying to find a replacement for KJ Wright. They're getting older. This guy can play all over the field though. He fits in the holes. He's a great run stuffer. He's a very gap essential linebacker to that team that I think that he won't be a starter for that. Maybe off the bat because they want KJ Wright. He just got shoulder surgery. So I think that he could be good there. But for the pick itself also, I think that they could have gotten him in the 2nd round, because
that's a maybe.
In the 2nd round, they moved up, and they could have added another wide receiver here, or an offensive lineman or something along those lines, to help Russell Wilson out. But I'm not going to knock this pick. I'm going to give this a A- because I really like him actually.
Okay, I'm going to give it a B-. I thought the pick was a little bit of a reach. The Seahawks defense gave up a lot of yards. Kyler Murray went off on them both games they played, and they couldn't stop anybody on that back end, and they were giving up a lot of points. Baker Mayfield torched them. The Seahawks uncharacteristically gave up a lot of points last year. They did. They won a lot of games, but they won a lot of close games. Russell Wilson needs some help. I think they could have went with the safety, Xavier McKinney. I think they could have went other places. They could have went tackle. Jordan Brooks. I think he's a decent player, but I thought it was a little bit of reach, so B- for me.
Okay. Yeah, totally understand that. Yeah, it's definitely a reach. Yeah. All right, moving on. The all favorite Ravens. You're just adding right here another piece of the puzzle. Hey, you're just getting better. They had a tremendous draft, and just for a team that has all the pieces already, and you can go out and get a solid linebacker that performed very well in the national championship. Hopefully he's not a one-hit wonder, but he's an undersized 3-down linebacker that that plays with tremendous speed. He has decent stopping power, and I think that he could play on the line rushing, as a right or left inside linebacker. And I think this is a very good pick here for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, they're already calling him Baby Ray Lewis. I think he, that's a reach, right? But
he's a little bit more size on him, so.
I think it's a good pick. It fits the identity of the team, a hard-nosed team that's gonna be in your face, smash mouth, stop the run, address the need there. I thought it was a good pick. It was a great pick, so I'm gonna go A+ there.
Yep. All right, moving on to the Tennessee Titans. Isaiah Wilson from Georgia. This guy, he's a solid offensive tackle, and after getting rid of Conklin earlier this year to the Browns, I think that this is a solid pick here. He's proven he's I think he played 4 years at Georgia. I don't remember, but he's massive. He's 6'7", 350. I think that he'll be a day one starter as soon as he gets there. And he plays with a lot of lateral. He can move lateral. He's very athletic, and he has big hands, very long arms. What you're looking for in a right or left tackle. So I think that they'll slide him in at right tackle, and go with it. I think that this is a great pick. I'm going to give this a B+.
Oh, B+. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a B+ as well. I was gonna go B-, but they addressed the need with Conklin. You made a good point about that. I wasn't thinking about that. I thought that they could have added a weapon for Tannehill out there. Corey Davis has been an absolute bust. The number 5 pick in the draft. Yeah. He's gonna be on last year. They just declined his 5th-year option, so that's gonna be a bust there. You got Brown on the outside, but I just thought they could have added maybe another weapon there. Tennessee Titans, they're gonna want to run the ball. They're a running team. So I thought it was a good pick now that they lost Conklin. So, yeah, I'm going to go with B+.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the Dolphins' 3rd and final pick of the first round. They addressed the need. I mean, not a need. They addressed the cornerback position after adding 2 cornerbacks this offseason. But at the same time, as much as I didn't like that they added, another cornerback to the roster, I think that this guy here, I don't. He's truly impressive to me. And a lot of people didn't have this guy like high on their draft boards.
He came out of nowhere.
He came out of nowhere. But if you think about it, in the SEC where Auburn's playing, they're playing a lot of big name talent. And Auburn had probably the toughest schedule out of brutal schedule. Any college team. And this guy, he plays. He has good size, decent length, and he's a great top. He has great top end speed. He's pretty fast. But what I love about him is he's who can I compare him to? He's very hands-on. He wants to get up in your face. He wants to play physical. Yeah. He's very physical. And sometimes you just need those tempo setters, to really knock someone on their butt and, show them who's boss, And I think that overall that he won't get as many interceptions as some, but I think he's kind of like a Byron Jones. He's just a physical receiver. A cornerback that's just going to get in your face and knock down balls, and that's what you're looking for in a cornerback. Yes, it's a plus to get interceptions, but to really lock down a guy, play physical, and so overall, a lot of guys give this a C or something. I've seen a lot of mock or grades on this draft, but I personally like this. I'm going to give it a B+.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you there. Noah Igbenogany, that's how you say his name. From Auburn. It's going to be an interesting cornerback room. They already addressed the position. I thought they were going to go DeAndre Swift there. They could have done some other things. Very aggressive, but his press technique wasn't great. He would get burned. He would press, but then get off of his press and allow the wide receiver to get by him really quickly. I think he's going to be a developmental guy. Yes. They got some older guys there. They might be able to move him around a little more. Gives him a little versatility and stuff like that in the back end. He was a track star. I don't know if you knew that, but I did a little research on him. He did run track, and he was on Olympic level. He was really good. So I just thought that the Dolphins could have kind of slammed the door on the draft. They've had 2 picks that were great. Corner, I didn't really think that was a need for them. No. And then to get a guy that was not a top 10 corner on the draft board was a head scratcher. I didn't like it. I'm gonna give it a C-.
Yeah. Alrighty then. Yeah, that's fair. The other thing
I thought they could have got Jeff Gladney right there. I thought they could have got the guy from TCU. Was a more polished guy. They didn't do it.
The only upside to this is that he's gonna be able to play special teams, punt and kick return, and this guy's gonna be a good. If you want to stick him on the outside during a man-to-man coverage, and stick their number 2 cornerback into the slot, to get their guy, This team is progressing, and I think that they're going into the right spot. I can get with you on that. Next pick, the Minnesota Vikings. Glaring need right here that they have a cornerback. They had all the talent in the world last year except at the cornerback position. Xavier Rhodes, extreme bust. He couldn't guard his life. And I mean,
that was
come on.
uncomfortable to watch too, because he was such a good
Very,
corner.
and
It was uncomfortable, right?
out of nowhere, he just was like,
the Monstars took his talent. He just couldn't guard anyone.
And I was like, wow. I mean, whatever, but you know, they got this glaring need in Jeff Gladney. You know, he's a little undersized. He has very good speed. So he's above average in man-to-man. I think he's a little bit more of a zone coverage guy, but he does well at reading the cornerback and playing the ball. And I mean, he's not, like I said, he makes up for his size with his aggression. You know, I think that he's able to get off a receiver and make the play on the ball. And but overall, great pick here. I'm going to give this a B+.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an A. I thought it was a great pick. And the Vikings just knocking it out of the park. Them and the 49ers are probably going to be clear winners in this draft, but that's another video. Yeah, I loved it. Thought it was a good pick.
Yeah. All right, rounding off the draft with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll let you hit this one off.
Yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, LSU running back. Showed tremendous ability to catch out of the backfield, something Andy Reid loves to do. Looked like Shady McCoy a little bit out there. You know, some stuff that Andy Reid did with the Eagles. You know, it's criminal at this point that their offense is just going to have another weapon. I mean, really, come on. So I'm going to give it an A. I thought they could have addressed a couple other things. Their defense, you know, their back end is a little thin, you know, kind of aging a little bit. But, yeah, I thought it was a great pick, and Andy Reid's going to have a lot of fun with this new toy he's got.
Yeah, I think that, you know, you're right. I had them taking DeAndre Swift here, but you know, I think they got a tremendous back in CEH. So I think that he's going to be a person to look out for next year. You know, running back there, and like you said, he's tremendous route running as a back, you know, and it really proved last year. I mean, I think that he had 1,400 yards on the ground, and I think that he put almost 600 yards up, 55 catches. That's like, come on now. It's almost not fair, you know. And just to plug him into basically an LSU style NFL team. I mean, he's going to go from the best in college football to the best in the NFL, you know. And like you said, adding another piece of the puzzle in that Andy Reid's offense it's truly amazing, you know, to see what they're doing there in Kansas City, and they're staying young, you know. I think the only thing that I could have thought that maybe could have happened is, since Chris Jones, you know, he doesn't care to stay there, you know, he wants to leave, but the only thing is he hasn't signed his franchise tag. So I think that they could have gone defensive tackle and like a Neville Gallimore or a Ross Blacklot, but I mean you can't miss here at running back. So I'm gonna give this I'm gonna give this a B+. I think this is yeah. So, alrighty. Well, I mean, any steals of the draft that you want to kind of like put up?
Well, obviously, CeeDee Lamb's gonna be my number one steal of the draft. Can't believe he went 17.
Who won the first round to you?
Who won the first round? Oh, man. It's got to be the 49ers, man. The 49ers had a great draft. But I got three teams. I got 49ers, I got the Vikings, and then I got the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Getting CeeDee Lamb is ridiculous. And I like some of the stuff they did later on. And we'll talk about that later. But, yeah, pretty much there wasn't a whole lot of, like, terrible decisions other than, you know, the Green Bay Packers one, which didn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really like what the Minnesota Vikings did. And, yeah, those three teams.
Yeah, I think if I have to say a team that won the draft is the 49ers, and it sucks because I'm a Cardinals fan, so we have to go up against that hard defense. Hopefully Kyler can put another 2 great games of he had the highest QBR on them. So overall, I think this is a great first round draft. I mean, hopefully we provided you guys with some good content. We're looking forward to getting up some more videos. Stay tuned for an NFC and an AFC projections for this upcoming year. And I'm Austin Pewitt. This is Charles Mack, and hopefully we're gonna be able to push out some good content to y'all. All right, y'all have a good day, and remember, if you want any pro football hot takes, just come here.